up, y'all? That's Black and White, baby. Black and White, my main man. Biggie Smalls. It's a free download. Go check it out. Go support Black and White. I dropped a link in the chat for you guys. Let me know what you think of it. Black and White is a good buddy of mine, and he's a great producer. All right, so welcome. Week 13, episode 13 of the Juanton Tech House production live stream. We're back again, folks. If you're new to the stream, this is a stream where I share my favorite tips, tricks, and techniques for producing tech house music and potentially other dance music genres. We're here every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you miss it, don't worry. Juanton Music over on YouTube. I upload all the replays every week so you guys can never miss out on all this great content, right? So definitely go check it out. If you haven't already, head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to click that little bell notification so you get updated when I upload new videos. All right, so this week in the live stream, I'm going to be changing it up a little bit. We're stepping away from the track we've been working on. That's close enough, just needs the last few touches there before I send it out to labels. So this week, special surprise, I'm going to be starting a new collaboration with my buddy Dummysplash. He's probably in the chat. My man makes great music. He always has demos for us, and we've worked on a track together before. So I'm really excited to work on the second track. He just sent me this track. It's probably like 80% there. There's a lot of good ideas. So we're going to see what we can do to take the track in a new direction, to add that Juanton touch to it. So really excited to share that with you guys. Before we get to it, couple different things. I did want to ask you guys, moving forward the next few weeks, what would you guys like to see? Is there any burning questions or issues in your own production that you're working on that you'd like some help with? Just help guide me to make the best content for you guys. You can send me an email, juan@juantonmusic.com, or just drop it in the chat below. Or if you're over on YouTube watching this in the future, let me know in the comments. Either way, I just want to know what you guys would like to see from me. Finally, I ordered a new part. I've noticed I've had a bit of a delay with my voice and like the video, and I think it was just like the adapter that I was putting the video through. I think it was just adding a delay. So let me know, guys, if it's any better, if my voice is somewhat matched up with my mouth as I'm talking. Just let me know in the chat. All right, cool. So let's just jump over into it, guys. Oh, as always, before I forget, if you haven't already, make sure to send your demos to Juan@juantonmusic.com. That's Juan@juantonmusic.com. And I'll listen to your tracks at the end of the session, give you guys live feedback. Very important to all producers. Okay, so good old Ableton. So here's the track as Dummysplash sent it to me. Things I like to like you guys to notice. Looks very pretty. You know, he's got his kick up here, cool. He's got his groups. It's really well done, color coded. You know, the least you can do when you send somebody a project is to just clean it up for them, so they're just not looking at a jumbled mess, you know, as our thoughts can be sometimes. So appreciate that, Dummysplash. Good looking. Let's see. We got a kick group. We got the ghost kick. So he's using the ghost kick, I'm assuming, to activate a sidechain compressor. That's killer. Love it. Yep, right there. There's one for the drums. Cool. So interesting thing with this one. Let me see. I would be careful putting your compressor like this directly on your drum group where you have your clap and your hi-hat. Simply because you want your clap and your hat not necessarily to duck the kick. Well, I guess the hat never will, so it's not a problem. But the clap, you are going to layer the clap with the kick on every second beat. So I would try not to sidechain the clap directly. So maybe like have a second group in here for everything that's not the clap, and then you can put the sidechain on there. Otherwise, I like what you're going for. let's see here. Then we got synths, we got a vocals group, and we got a lows group. So here you see the new Vox. I did record a couple new vocals, an idea I had for this track. We'll get there. But first, let me just turn that off, and I'm going to let you guys listen through a good amount of this track so you can see what I'm working with here. So we'll just start it from bar 9.
Shyster.
Cool. So dope track. Love the 808 vibes. Definitely what piqued my interest, I think, at first with this one. A lot of really cool sounds and a lot of movement, kind of like up and down stuff, which I really enjoy, kind of like long falling sounds or rising sounds. So a lot to work with here. I did kind of have an idea that just came to me, a vocal idea just popped into my head as soon as I opened up this project. I got the vocals down immediately. Took me like 5-10 minutes. Played around with those vocals as I normally do for another 20 or so minutes. So I'll show you what I came up with there. But first, I'd like to talk a little bit about the arrangement. See, we have like a break here. Looks nice little 8-bar break. I'm a big fan of short breaks. We got a long 16-bar break. And then we have this last 8-bar break going into what's sort of a drop, but it's more of a continuation of this second drop. It's just kind of the second drop continued, but I actually like this. This is a really cool little section here because as a DJ, if I'm mixing this track out here, then I can use this like little break section area to kind of build up into the switch of the bass lines here. So like you'd imagine that at this point, the other track would be taking over the kick of the bass, and then you'd just be mixing out the rest of the track from here, using your EQ faders, whatever. But it feels a little long. So this section here, like this is gonna be about a minute right here. Then this will be 15 seconds, and then this is really kind of like an outro. So the length is a little fine, but I think what maybe I'll end up doing, may or may not, we'll see, is cut off probably just this 15 seconds here. So we'll do 3 phrases in the second drop. Then we'll do this kind of like break or crescendo thing, come to like a big finish, and then have like a, you can go back into the drop. It's helpful for DJs to like come back into this if they need to. Then they can continue to loop this section. It has enough bass to carry them through as they're trying to figure something else out. So that's cool. I like it as like a bass outro, basically. So just a couple thoughts there about the arrangement. What I'll basically do is start just kind of with the first build and drop, kind of get my ideas out there, and then try to take whatever new ideas I come up with and propagate those to the rest of the arrangement. And at that time, make any final decisions on how we want to change the arrangement if we decide to. Cool. So let me just show you the vocal idea that I had. So this is the little drop vocal.
Shyster.
So I turned that off, and then I added my own vocal. I have the raw takes here. I'll show you guys those. But then this is kind of the idea that is developed from it. Wow. Ding dong. Didn't even have the channel on. Okay, here we go. So there you go, guys. Quick idea. It's just, I don't know why, for some reason, this song came to my head when I was working on this, but I just heard that lowrider working and I immediately had to record it. So I just recorded myself doing like the original lyrics because I figured people's ears will pick up on that. So let's see what the takes look like. So here's like the original take. All my friends know the low rider. I think I got a couple other. The low rider is a little higher. So yeah, a little embarrassing there. So my voice doesn't sound great, but it doesn't need to sound great. It just needs to sound crisp, clear, because I can mess with it using all my tools at my disposal here. So then that becomes
All my friends know the low rider.
And then I think it just hits perfectly in this drop.
All my friends know the low rider.
And there's just like this shift. Like I really like what you do here, man. You kind of like shift the sound of the song. It's almost like you're changing to like a darker mode. It's cool. But yeah, we just kind of have this synth. It's rising. You're kind of getting real vibey, and then we're into this real dark, wonky sound. And I think the lowrider just kind of really accentuates that. So pretty cool. Hope you guys like that. Let me know in the chat. I feel like that almost puts the song together, dude. Seriously. So yeah, I'm just gonna play from here, kind of fill out the rest of this drop with the vocal, and see where I go. Okay, see what else we got here to work with. My raw takes. All my friends know the low ride. All my low rider rides a little higher. Okay, so maybe take that guy. What I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna chop these up and then name them so it makes a little more sense. So this is the low rider rides a little higher. Just do rides a little higher. All my friends know the low rider. All my friends know the low rider. So just different takes of that one. All my friends know the low rider. Just because that's the main vocal, so I just made sure to get in a few different takes so that as I'm producing, if I find that any take for whatever reason is a little off or something, I have a few that I could chop up and kind of turn into one really solid vocal. Mostly just like little peaks and little mixing issues like that. All low rider drives a little slower. Low rider is a real goer. So like I literally got you. Low rider knows every street, yeah. Just looked at the lyrics. Low rider. Don't know what copyright issues run into this, but worry about that later. All music is a sample. Let's see. So they say lowrider drives a little slower. So maybe we'll do that one next. I think that's right here. Low rider drives a little slower. So we'll just put drives a little slower. Slower. All right. So I'm going to take that, drop it down on my Vox ID. I'll probably just duplicate this. I guess I could show you what I have on here. So first thing I did, I just put Waves Vocal Writer. If you guys don't know Waves Vocal Writer, it's a great plugin from Waves. Essentially, this is like a mixing engineer writing the fader of your vocal as they're recording it so that the voice stays stable. It's a little different, right? So compression, it's looking at the sound as a whole and it's compressing them, the tips, the peaks and whatnot, bringing up the lower content. But vocal writing is different. It's about like moving the fader as the vocal gets quieter in order to like bring those quiet parts a little closer to the high parts. And it's good for stabilizing your vocal gain, especially for people who aren't good at singing, probably myself. But you just put Vocal Writer on here. I just load up a preset. I think I chose, so in this case, I chose loud vocal. Just kind of cycle through them, try to listen to see if I could hear how it was changing it just a little bit, make a decision. Don't overthink it. Just put one on here. Um, and literally, if we look at the clip here, right down below, you can see kind of like which parts of my vocal are quieter. So you got the high part up here, the peak. Then you got lower parts here. So let's see, what am I saying here?
All my friends.
So it's like all my friends. It's like a little deeper. But I don't want to get rid of all that. This is what we call dynamics, right? Dynamics is like the difference between the loudest parts and the not as loud parts, right? Is essentially your dynamics. If you can compress the hell out of something and get rid of all those dynamics so that this becomes super squashed, we can see what that looks like. Check this out. Starts to squash it. Actually, it doesn't squash it because we have unlimited headroom here. But if I was to be slamming this into a compressor and you saw the wave, you'd start to see it really start to chunk off at the top and everything would get closer to being the same heights. So vocal writers trying to get the quiet parts just up a little bit without getting rid of too many dynamics. So added that in there, but you do still want to keep some. Like there's a reason that these words are a little bit quieter, because that's where the rhythm and the groove of your vocal can like come into play. Anyway, so vocal writer. Then I have an audio effect rack. I got a high channel and a low channel, both with little altar boy. So I got one little altar boy that's pitched down with the formants down. And then I got a little altar boy shifted up with the formants up as well. I did add some drive to the lower one, not to the higher one, it seems like. So for whatever reason, I just like the way it sounded together. I want the low vocal to be kind of the lead, and that high vocal is just there to add a bit of unison, chorus, if you will, and to fill out the frequency spectrum as well, and to give it that little Juanton twist. So yeah, just mix those there. There's really nothing else, and then finally bass clef auto filter opening up through the breakdown. That's it. Simple. Haven't done anything yet at all really with that vocal, and it's already sounding pretty cool. So, all right, showed you guys that. So because I duplicated this with everything on it, I'm just going to select track content, delete it. I'm going to go get, drives a little slower. We're going to hold option to drag it over, and that's going to duplicate it. So now I still have it in the original takes. Never cut it away from your takes. Like you still want them there. Although if I did accidentally cut it, I literally could just extend that and it's right there. But anyways, keep your takes, try to organize them as you're working through them so that it doesn't just become a blob of audio, 4 months down the road when you open the project, you forget what the heck they were, and then you got to re-listen to it over and over. So that's why I put my little descriptions here.
Low.
Okay, so this is like first phrase of the drop. I don't bring the vocal in. I just introduce you to the main melodic ideas. Okay, then here comes the vocal in the second phrase, and probably continue that vocal through. So just stick that there. So hear how it sounds. Little off. I think when I record on my microphone, for whatever, there's like a slight delay between the mic and the recording process, probably because I have a preamp. So every time I record things, they always seem to be slightly off. Maybe I just have really bad timing. Probably a solid combination of both. But you just come in here, you grab this little triangle thingy, knob, whatever. That's totally the professional term. and just drag this. If you get really close, the goal here, guys, when you're setting this is that you want to be as close to the transient beginning, right? As close to the transient start here, without going over it. And another big key, the reason why I'm zooming in so close, is you want this to be at a point where the volume is 0. That's going to keep you from getting any clicks. If I was to put it right here, or like right here, where you can see that the sine wave is already beginning, that's going to create a click, because the speaker has to go from here 0 to whatever this is, right? Some random unit of amplitude, I guess. Well, the speaker can't just automatically move places. It has to go from here to here. And when you have it being immediate like that, those create clicks. So it's what we're trying to get rid of when we do fades. If you look at what a fade is doing to a sample, it's just reducing that click by creating a fade in. But you can get rid of that just by making sure that when you line this up, you line it up at a point of 0, which looks like it's right there basically. So get up against that. Now let's see if it's in time or close enough. I think I need a the. I kind of messed up. Huh? The low. I could just jack it from over here though, I'm sure. Yeah. So what I can do, this is the same. So I'm going to copy that. Let me see. I'm going to do it from a point like here, 44.4. Copy that, and then paste it here. That'll keep us in time. I'm going to Command J that. That's going to consolidate it. Call it the low rider. Change it. The low ride. That way I know that it's like 3 syllables. And I'm just going to replace that over this part. So then this will just be drives a little slower. Let's see if I turn these up at all. That one up too. So I'll do that here as well. Drives a little slower. The low rider drives a little slower. That's pretty cool. Drives a little slower. I think that timing's slightly off, so I'm just dragging this out. Drives a little slower. Drives a little slower. Even go in here, I'm going to separate these and just move that slower so it's a little better on beat. You don't always want to be perfect necessarily, but it should at least sound like it's close to being on beat. Okay, and then maybe what is the next vocal in the song? The lowrider is a real goer. I know I have that one here somewhere. Low rider is a real goer. Just gonna take that. Command E is a real goer. Okay. And then, whoops, is a real goer. That replaces this, I believe. Is a real goer. Is a real goer. Is a real. Same thing. Just want to get these suckers online. Is a real goer. Is a real goer. Okay. good idea. Maybe do some kind of echo into the transition. Is a real go. And then I think maybe here in this section we do some kind of chop with it, right? We don't just want to completely copy it. Just pay homage to it. Pay homage to it. So we got is a real. That's the goa. This is just goer. And so this goer part, let's see. What I'm going to do is just resample this. Record. We're going to go input. We're going to solo this bad boy. Hit that record. Done. Go back to auto. Unmute this. Okay. And now let's see if we just solo this or mute this real quick. I just like to see the vocal a little fatter, so I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to increase this, I don't know, 8. It gives me a better view of it, maybe 10. But since I know it was recorded at the right volume, I'm going to go minus 10 over here. Okay. Let's get delay. I kind of have an idea what I want to play with here. Close the filter a bit. Something like that. Press A. We're gonna hit the little plus button to bring up the automation channel, automation lane. And now if I automate, I just know, okay, so let me see. I clicked it from sync to time because I know that I can automate the time, which will let me go at a millisecond level. I'm going to automate that over time. The trick here is this repitch mode. You want to make sure repitch mode is on, otherwise it's not going to give you the effect, but it creates like a pitch jumping effect anytime you go up or down. So you're going to hear it right away what I'm talking about. So let's see if we can play around, find something cool. Really fast, too fast. As you can see, like this already starts creating some really wonky sounds. So definitely play around with this. Like some of those sounds that I just made right now, you know, would have been cool if I was kind of recording and then playing around with it, playing it over and over, getting a long recording, and then you can use some of those as samples. You'd be surprised what you can make. But happy accidents. Whoops. A little too much. There we go. Now you want to increase the feedback to get more of the effect. Basically, if I turn the feedback all the way to 100, that's the same thing as this. It's like a freeze, basically. And a freeze is like it's never going to stop delaying. So you can create a lot of bad noise in your headphones doing that sometimes. But basically what feedback does is it increases the amount that the original vocal or the original sample, whatever it is, goes back into the delay. If you have a lot of feedback, it like goes in at 100% basically every time. Low feedback, it will slowly go in less and less, and that's where you get that light decay that you always hear. Okay, so let's listen to it in a minute. Okay, so now what I did, you saw that really quick. I just turned up the dry wet to 100. I unmuted the original goer. So now all I'm having on this channel is the delay. That's pretty cool. And now I can just turn up the volume. Okay. I think first thing I got to do is put a sidechain compressor on this guy because I want him to duck the original vocal so we hear that goer nice and clear. You ever do this? This happens to me all the time. You just do like a Command F or something and it's right there. It always happens with utility for whatever reason and it doesn't work. Won't let me drag it on. But if I go to my audio effects and find my compressor, and it's going to drag right on. I don't know why. It's like a saved preset or something. Not sure. Hit the sidechain button. Audio from, we're going to go Vox Idea 1. It's the second one. I guess I should call that Idea 2 for now. And then here, this is going to be delay, Vox delay. Delay. Okay, so bring the threshold down. You don't want makeup gain on, keep that off because makeup gain is going to increase the volume to make up for the compression. We don't want that when we're doing sidechain. Turn the knee all the way down to 0, I believe is what you want. Decently fast attack. There we go. I think that's nice. Maybe a little bit less. Slower or a little faster on the release. Actually less. Sounds cool. What do you think of that one? All right. Think of something to chop here. The low rider, low, something like that maybe. Okay, we got
The low rider. The low rider.
take that. I like to copy things on the exact lines. That helps you keep them in time. So this is like at a half bar, so I can just paste it right here at a half bar, then get rid of this original piece here. Get nice and close for that fade. Remember I was talking earlier about the fades. You can see how it affects the wave. You can see there's like a chunky line right here. That's going to be a click. You can barely hear it. It's a small click, but a few of those will add up. But you could just simply get rid of those by dragging this over. And as you see, it turns that into a straight line. Just fades it for us. Pretty cool, Ableton. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, so then you come in here. We'll do like this. I want to do a whole bar worth. Just consolidate that. The low rider. Save yourself a lot of headaches by just making sure you preserve timing on things, man. Seriously, because then you'll have to like get it in time, and it's a pain. So there's the low rider. chop it up over here somewhere.
The low rider. The low rider. Is a real rider.
So let me move it here maybe. Maybe actually go back. The low rat, like that. Let's see. That's kind of cool. The low rider. Problem is, I think that the low actually starts. Let me see. This is where the starts. Or this is where low starts. Low rat. Let's do half a bar. That's kind of cool. So you have the sound here. I think maybe I need to play with that. So I'm gonna just copy this, save it for later. I might do something cool over here. Just Command J, I guess. Mute that. Stick it over here. Turned off. Preserve the initial stuff there, but so it's the low, something like that. So let me see. We basically have it. Just got to get rid of this. The low. Then we'll just extend this so it's low rider. And then maybe right there, kind of give you a little bit more of a payoff. So the low rider, low, low. Actually, I think that kind of works right there.
The low rider, the low rider.
See if maybe we can do the same resampling trick with that there.
Rider.
Come in here. We're going to turn it up 10. Go back to auto.
Rider.
Just copy this same automation.
The low rider.
See if I just move this over more.
Rider.
Kind of works. But I think I need to shift this over so we get the same kind of thing. Maybe not. It's kind of off. We'll try one more. Kind of works. Might work on that a bit later. Keep going. Okay, this is a new idea, so I might have to record this later, but I'm kind of thinking here we switch it up. We go away from the original vocal, now come up with our own little twisted version of it. And I'm thinking about something like your girl loves to take rides in my low rider, or like I stole your girl with my low rider. I don't know. What do you think? Be like the low rider. Man, your girl likes my low rider. See if I can come up with some funny stuff there in this little breakdown.
Drops a little slower.
Let me see here. This is pretty quiet.
Drops a little slower.
We have that here already.
All my friends know the low rider.
Okay, I'm just gonna move this maybe to my raw takes. Let's see if I could probably. Let me see.
All my the low rider.
See if we could play around with that here. So
Rider. Rider.
okay. There we go. I want it so that it ends on the right. So the first, probably just gonna loop this section here. Get this to repeat. Yeah. So, oops. Probably not. Just turn the filter. Hmm. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe just kind of slowly open this up with the fader over time. No reason to get too crazy. So basically what I have here. So what is this? That's 2.5 in front of the drop. So put that here. Then just get rid of this last part. And then repeat this guy. So 1.5 bars. It's 2 bars. Just keep that going. It can be tricky sometimes to line things up because as you can see, like the and everything is like off beat. So it's just really about, this helps a lot. So you do command 1 and 2 if you could. I don't know if you guys can see. Sometimes it's hard to see on my screen, but like the distance between the beat markers is 1/4. You could always see that down here. If I do 1, command 1, it's going to go down to 8/16. If I do command 2, I'm going to go up to half, 1 bar, 2 bar. So like just try to find, the nearest kind of beat markers where you can duplicate something. So here, this is half a bar, this is a full bar, this is half a bar. So then I know that this is 2 bars, so I duplicate that. And then I could tell that I was on because if I take this last 2 bars, duplicate it, see how it duplicates right onto this last sample, and it doesn't change anything. So I know that my timing was correct. So now if we hear this over time.
is a little higher.
Is a little. See, it's that easy. You do it like you're gonna repeat it, but you don't. It's just like, what do you call it? Like tension release. You're creating tension because here's a release,
Is a
right?
little higher.
Height. And now you know what's supposed to come,
Is a little.
but I don't give it to you. So little tricks like that. It's all about adding tension release, you know, call and response with the other sounds. Even this, like this is kind of funny. He says higher at the same time that the sound is like wop, 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 wop.
Is a little.
The low. The low, low, low. Do something like that maybe. Let me see.
The low. The low. Is a little. The low. The low.
The low, low, low.
The low. 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 The low. Low. Low.
If you really want things to be interesting too, really play with 16ths. Don't go down to 30 seconds unless you're doing like fast taps.
The low.
Fast taps.
Low. Low. The low. Low. Low.
See how they just sounded a little funkier? It's because we're using the off 16ths here.
The low. Low. Low.
Low, low, the low. Then what if I did like don't like it right here. That's pretty cool. Digging that so far. think that this little chop loop that I'm creating here it's getting there. It's kind of getting a bit of a rhythm. That's what I'm trying to get, but it's not quite there. So gonna take a quick break from that. I like to, when I feel like I'm kind of hitting a little bit of a creative block there, getting a little stuck, kind of like something about it, step away from it. Even if it's just for 15 minutes, let your ears like kind of forget about it a little bit so you can come back with a fresh perspective, and sometimes it'll just come to you, and it might not be till the next section or the third session working on this, but it's getting somewhere. So something I don't like about it, something I do like about it, I'll keep massaging until I get something. It's a demo time, baby. Yep, there we go. Cool. So yeah, digging that so far. Been kind of playing with some new vocal ideas. I think next week I'll open up this one again, and maybe, I don't know, we'll see if I work on it between now and then, but see where else I can kind of maybe add some cool Juanton sounds in there. I'm thinking like this is a pretty full arrangement, and I really like it already. I just kind of want to keep playing with it, adding a little more call and response. So I'm going to see if there's room for a couple other little synth sounds, or maybe work with what's in there to get a little flair. But overall, really cool project from Dummysplash. I really liked it. So we'll see how this collaboration turns out. Who knows? Maybe Juanton Dummysplash EP coming soon. Always work the vocal processing right. It's been a lot of I spent a lot of time working on vocals. I originally used just kind of vocal samples I'd find online. I found a lot of times somebody else already found it before you, or if I was always using like acapellas, and it's never really that unique, right? So I started writing my own vocals, and I got to tell you, the first one sucked. The first one sucked bad, but I just think the repetition of continuously trying to come up with creative vocals over time, along with DJing a lot of tracks that I like, you start to kind of learn what you like. And that's the trick, right? As a producer, at first, the kind of music you like, but you can't really put it down. Eventually you can put it down, but then you're making things that you don't like. So finding how to put down the ideas that you do like, that's that final piece there. And that's when you start really making some original music. So yeah, I'm happy with that, man. It's a cool idea. And I like that I used my voice instead of the original. That way it won't pop up automatically on any copyright robots. Cool stuff. All right, let's hop into the demos, guys. If you're new to the stream, I listen to viewer demos every week. You just send it to Juan@wontonmusic.com, and I make sure to give them a listen if I can, and give you guys my best feedback. I always think it's really important for producers continuously get feedback. Obviously, if you're watching this in the future, you can't turn it in, but tune in next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and I'll give it a listen. All right, so let's go check the email. Looks like I got one from who else? Dummysplash. So let's see what other fire this guy's cooking up. Always working on music. Good stuff, man. Let me see if I can get this set up right. All right, we got Glassy Waters by Dummysplash. Glassy Waters. Ooh. Waters by Dummysplash. All right, brother. All right. First of all, dope track. Let me go back to the beginning. There was something that really piqued my ear. Do you use these? Do these play elsewhere in the song? Because I feel this is like such a different vibe here than the rest of the song. I feel like this intro, and both are sick actually. Because I really like where you go with the song, but it does feel a little different here in the intro than it does a little later. I'm curious here. I'd love to hear how you incorporate it later on. There it is. Yeah. I think it's just the lack of that like tone in the back that really makes it feel different. I would don't probably the only thing there I'd say is have like one 9-bar phrase without that doom, 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 and then let it come in there at the 9 bar. Um, it's pretty sick. Just intro it a little bit later so that it feels like something's happening there. But otherwise, man, it's super dope. Classic vibes I've been starting to notice from you. But that's a good thing, man. If your tracks are starting to have a similar sound, that means you're starting to latch on to your own signature sound, and that's really good. The first thing I noticed, okay, let me see. So right there, I feel like that first drop, that's like the first real drop of the song, and I feel like it lacks punch. Um, and part of that might be that your kick maybe needs a little more punch to it because your kick is really your driving bass line here. So like you can really go heavy on the processing, get that kick really punching, but also just taking away low end in this breakdown. This last 9 bars at least before the break comes in, take away that low end, have a filter closing, like a high pass filter closing throughout the breakdown, maybe up to like 200, even up to 250 hertz, and then pull that away, completely turn it off right at the drop, and let that kick come back in. Give me some punch, because that's like we're talking about catch and release, or not catch and release, tension and release. You're building up tension, but there's no release because it's exactly the same. Like it feels the same in terms of volume. Where you want there to be kind of like a drastic change. Like here comes the bass back, especially with this style, because like this really sounds like Afrotech to me. If you look up like Afrotech on Spotify, but I'm a big fan of it. I started listening to a lot of Afrotech back when I was in Thailand earlier this year. Really came home, started diving into it. So potentially I can share a few tracks I think would be really good references for this. But like stick with that vibe. I really like what you're going with. I like your drums. I think that you can have a few more drums. I think you need like one kind of percussive motif is the best way that I can explain it. But just like one like more percussive sound that's just kind of riding the beat throughout. Um and I think maybe somewhere in the realm of like bongos or it's hard to say exactly like all the names of these little instruments, but really going for kind of that tribal sound, um, something with some good rhythm, some good syncopation, I think would really help this track come together. But otherwise, I really like what you're doing. In fact, after that first drop, the rest of the drops seem to come in pretty well. And I feel like maybe you're missing like a bass sound. I don't know if you have like a designated bass line outside of your kick or if it's just a kick. I do hear some other kind of low frequency sounds, but they're really quiet. So I don't know if they're just meant to be like little auxiliary sounds. Um, check the wrap up for the break there. Yeah, I'll have to look at this a little later, see if I can find that section you're talking about. But um, just need a percussive motif, something there. I think would help drive it. You're pretty close. You do have a lot of cool sounds, and it could be that you have sounds in there. You just need to bring the volume up because I did notice a few sounds that sounded really cool, but it sounded just like quiet, sitting in the back. And I think that you could just bring those a little more forward so that they're more present in the beat. Um, but getting back to the bass, it doesn't feel like there's another bass line in there. If there is, you just need to turn it up. But I think just like one or two like 808 bass notes or some kind of like big bass notes, just like right here. Because you're just going boom, 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 boom. And if you just give me like one offbeat, boom, 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 just that little off wah, boom, would just really add a lot of weight. But overall, I think that your kick maybe needs a little weight in the low end. Or maybe it's even a little higher than the low. Maybe the low end's good and it's kind of like the upper mids that are missing. but something to really give that kick presence and really give it a kick, a punch to it. Punch. It needs punch. Also, this one's just kind of like my own style I really like to do, but I think that the track would work with it. It's just kind of like some It's like you're building up right here. Let's see. I don't know, just like a There's a few points where I think it would work. Just that could be like the only vocal you have in it. You do have this other cool vocal thing. I can't tell where it comes in just from here, but there was a cool vocal that kind of came in and filled that void there. Yeah, that's about it. The last thing I had, I kind of already touched on it, to saturate the auxiliary drums, those little drums you have in the back, and really syncopated sounds. I like those. I think those need a little saturation. Saturate them and then take some top end off of them, because they're kind of more of like mid-range elements, and you want to save space up top for your main hats and your any other tops. But all the ones that are percussive, maybe like saturate them and then take some top end off with an EQ. But yeah, just bringing those things up in the mix a bit. That's about it though, man. Otherwise, I really like the vibe of this track. So definitely send it to me after you do some work. Let me know what changes you made. I'd love to give it another listen. Let me go check the demos. Looks like no more demos today, but I am going to try to get a few more guys in here every week sharing demos. I know I have a few buddies always sending me tracks to listen to, so got to make them come in here, bring those tracks for you guys so that we could all learn together. He's got another one. You can send it to me, man. I probably won't do it on the stream, but I'll definitely give you feedback. But I think I'm going to go ahead and call it for today. About an hour and a half in. Pretty good. A couple random notes for you guys. If you saw anything about the public power safety shut off, whatever that was, I was highly affected. Didn't see it coming. And I spent 40 hours with no power at my home. How awful is that? As if 2020 couldn't get any worse. They just got to hit me like that. But at this point, I'm battle tested. 2020 cannot break me. I am convinced. Before I go, I do want to leave you guys with a couple things. If you haven't already made a plan on how to vote, please go do that. Voting is so important. It is the crux of this country, the basis of how we make this country ours, right? A country for the people. So make sure you go vote, come up with a plan, do it early if you can, because this year is the most important year to vote. And with the pandemic, it's going to be chaos at the polling places. So I definitely recommend figuring it out early, but do go vote. Otherwise, guys, stay curious, stay positive, keep producing, keep sending me them demos. And until next time, I'm Juanton. This is Tech House Production Livestream. See you next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Peace.